In my last video, I kind of busted on the Smith & Wesson Shield and its lack of innovation and just the fact that I don't think it's as good as it could be, and as good as it frankly should be. But that's not just a Shield. This is indicative of a lot of firearm manufacturers who I don't think are pushing the envelope forward, because like I said, they don't have to. But let's talk about this one specific example. This is in 40. You got your 6-round magazines that sit flush, 7-round magazines that extend the base plate. This is one without the little ring on it. 40 or 9mm, it's a silly discussion. It's kind of like when you watch a movie about time travel and then the characters start talking about time travel and everything gets convoluted and you're just like, screw it, can we just get back to what we really want to talk about, which is the movie, or in this case, the gun itself. It's got all the kind of nice features that we've come to expect from firearms. Safe action trigger, good scalloping, reversible magazine release. This one, it's not ambi, but I think it is reversible. Single stack magazines, which are kind of standard for this new kind of subcompact 9mm trend that we are seeing. This one happens to be in 40. I think all guns that are 9 will eventually see 40. So you've got your XDSs, you've got, I'm sure Ruger will eventually come out with one. I guess they already have the LC9. But what I'm waiting to see is the SR9S, which will be the Ruger SR9 Slim. That doesn't yet exist, but I bet will eventually. And I picked this up crazy cheap. I paid $350 for this gun, and it came with the magazines and the box and the lock and, you name it. So for $350, this represents really good value. I do personally like to have a manual safety, even if I don't choose to use it. I like that this, gun is capable of firing without a magazine in it. I think that's good. I think, like I said, it could use a rail. And the other thing that I think is really weird about this gun is the barrel is really, really short. They claim a 3.1-inch barrel, but I'm telling you, from this point to this point is not very far, but there's a lot of gun back here, and I think this is probably carryover from these, the Smith & Wesson M&P line, is that, when you have an 8-inch or when you have a 5 or 6-inch barrel or 4-inch, this distance versus this distance doesn't matter very much. And also, going through here, the height. There's a lot of gap in here. There's a lot of, you could literally store like a small battery in this like compartment. It probably caused the gun to fail, but there is enough room to put stuff in there. And I just think this was an easy and cheap gun for them to produce. Just whack a little off, then it up, make some new magazines. Which, by the way, why do these magazines have this shoulder here? Why is that? I don't understand why that happens. And these are the 40 ones. So what must the shoulder look like in the 9mm? These are 180 grain Hornady loads. I'm guessing that we'll see this in 45 very soon because look, the magazines already appear to be accommodating them. This is basically wide enough for a 45 shell or slug or whatever. So we'll probably see this gun eventually in 45. No big shock there. And to be honest, it's so big, it probably doesn't even need to be upgraded. And this is something I've touched on in other videos, is that you build the gun big enough to take all the major calibers, and then you release a 380, and then the 9, and then the 40, and then the 357 SIG, and you make everybody wait around, and then you deliver the 45. We're seeing Glock kind of do this in a reverse. They did the 45, and now they're going to do the 380. And then eventually I'm sure we'll get the 9 and the 40 and blah, 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 blah. Big whoop there. And 40 is not a bad cartridge, but that's another discussion for another time. So, this is a fine gun. If you can pick these up for $350, geez, could I pick this gun up for $300 if it just had one magazine and no box? Or $250 if it just had one magazine? So, these are going to drop in price. I think they make kind of like good, like, store 'em guns, kind of just tuck them away somewhere, and if you ever need a gun, boom, it's there, in your car, under your bed, where have you. Yeah. Sights, oh yeah, the sights aren't great. They exist. Trigger's fine. Sure, and the other thing is this feels like a quality build. This, unlike, say, a Keltec, which, by the way, if you can pick these up for $350, Keltec's PF9s are going to have to drop in price, like, a lot, because this is a solidly built gun. Now, admittedly, these new go for about $410. You can pick up a new Keltec for, well, they were like $350, $370, but I'm thinking that who's going to not spend the $50 and get what is a way better quality product? And I have a Keltec, and I like my Keltec just fine. But this feels like a solid gun, and a gun that, like your Glocks, is gonna run for a really long time. It's just not very small, not very creative, but it's cheap. All right.